Hi and welcome to the Secret Side Hustle. So this is a new YouTube kind of series, and it's called the Secret Side Hustle because this is really something that I do on the side that I don't really advertise. So we'll get into that, and you'll kind of see why as we go through. It is new. I'm not a YouTuber, and I'll explain all that in a second. So please don't expect fancy videos, but you will get honest videos. So one of the first things I want to do is explain what this video is really about and what's in it. So I'll introduce myself a little bit about who I am, as this is like the start of a new series. It's always nice to have a bit of context. I'll explain my current income streams for you. I will give you a recommendation of one way that you can actually work from home for some extra income that you might not be aware of if you've been watching videos on side hustles, because it's not something I've really seen come up. Some of the side hustles that I want to try, some of you might have experience of these, and I want to explain a little bit, why I'm doing that, what my plans are for the future, so you get a bit more of a very honest picture of who I am and what I'm doing. So stay tuned. It's not too long of a video, but I will get to what those side hustles are that I am going to try and that recommendation for what you can do. So firstly, I want to start talking a little bit just about me and my background. The first thing I really want to make clear is that this is not something about getting rich quick. Definitely know what I'm here to do, and I'm not an expert in side hustles. I'm not going to claim that I make, tons and tons of thousands of pounds each month doing online side hustles. That's literally not what this is about. It is more about having those side incomes alongside other commitments, whether that's having children or another job, or for whatever reason, and what kind of things we can do to try and earn a little bit of extra cash to help in the pot. So just to get on to a little bit about who I am really. So I'm a teacher full time. So this is definitely completely out of my comfort zone. I teach full time in a college, and I've been doing that for about 10 years. So definitely not someone here to profess that I've made millions of pounds on YouTube, because that's certainly not who I am. Just on that note, really, of not being a YouTuber and really not here to kind of, make thousands of pounds out of YouTube either. So I just want to explain my experience with YouTube, just so you can get kind of a really honest view of who I am. So my only YouTube video that I've ever uploaded was about 7 years ago, and it was to show some students how to create a video using a particular piece of software that they had to do to pass a particular part of a bit of coursework, really. And this was a Stoopflix video. I don't even know if this is still around anymore. And it was to just show them how to put this together. And really, really strangely, and I can't believe this really, this has had over 3,000 views and gained 10 subscribers. So I've got no idea how that happened. I've not been active on YouTube for this kind of thing. I just use it to be able to, save videos that I want to watch and things like that, but definitely not here to push out lots of YouTube videos. But I do plan now to try and do that a little bit, and just to see if anyone really wants to follow that journey. But yeah, I'm not sure who these 10 subscribers are or who the 3,000 odd people are that have watched this video. I can only apologise for that video, and I've left on my YouTube channel. So if you really want a bit of a giggle, you can go and have a look at this video on hygiene with a really, really catchy song that goes with it. Start properly really delving into my incomes and the side hustles, etc., that I do already, and what I want to do, which will be coming up in just a moment. But at the moment, I've mentioned already that I work full time, and my salary is about £41,500 or somewhere around there, and that's great. I've got no problems with that at all. But like everybody else, I'm trying to earn more money for specific reasons, and I'll get into that as well a little bit later. Not only do I teach full-time, but I also have a part-time job where I teach online to adults who are trying to get access to university, might not have had formal qualifications, and that's not a huge earner. I'd say, a good month is you know, £200 to £300, but when you average that out across the year, I would say really it's about £150, sometimes more, in extra income. So it's not a huge amount, and I don't put a lot of hours into that. I'd say maximum is about 3 hours a week, apart from marking on top of that. The other role that I do as well is another part-time teacher role, and again it's from home, and I do this online, and I teach students in China. And this isn't a bad earner actually. This brings in about £10,000 a year roughly, sometimes more. It's still in its fairly early days since the company opened, and it's going well. So I earn that on top of that as well. So that's kind of like regular income that I have, and you know, that's already factored into my diary every week. And then I have some other bits and bobs that I do. So I do like examiner work and moderator work for exam boards, and that's contract. So you might have a contract that's worth this much money and that much money, but again, it's not a huge income. They're just extra bits that I do throughout the year, and it just tops things up. I am about to start another online role, which again is teaching online. Well, actually more marking online, and that should be quite a substantial amount of money in comparison to my other side incomes. So possibly around, you know, £1,000 to £1,500 a month doing that, and we'll see how that goes. It depends really on how much time I have to really give to that role. It might not be very much. It might be more than I think. I really don't know at the moment. And I'll explain as we go through why I'm doing these extra bits of work, you know, what they're for. And I appreciate this is not something that everybody can do, which is where the rest of the video will come in and explain some of the things that I'm going to try and do and what you could try and do. And if you already do it, really, you know, maybe share your experiences and give me a little bit of advice. So my aim here is really to have it more as a community in terms of, you know, how these videos work, not me saying this is how you do things and this is what's going to make you lots of money, because the time that I could put to this to what you could put to it might be completely different. One of the things I wanted to mention here, obviously with some of the previous bits I've talked about, they're quite dependent on the qualifications you have, whereas this particular side hustle that I've done in the past isn't, and anyone can really do this. Obviously, the more confident you are, the better this is. But if this, you know, if there's a job that you want to do from home, and again, perhaps you want to work it around children and other commitments, and you want to top up that income, then Cambly might be something you want to try. So it's online teaching, but it's not teaching as in like having a subject specialism. This is for people that just want to improve on their English skills. And there are a few bits you have to be able to do this, and that's just really having a headset. So at the moment, to do this video, I'm wearing my husband's Xbox headset. I have got my own, but I'm in a different room, and you need to have a laptop. So this wouldn't work from an iPad or an iPhone or something like that. And what you basically do here is you sign up to tutor on Cambly, and you get paid by the minute, basically. So there's like an area there where you can book when you're going to be available, and they're called like priority hours. I can do an extra video on this if it's something people are interested in, and then you get paid so much depending on how many minutes you basically engage in these conversations and try and improve people's English skills. There's a little bit more to it, but a bit too much to cover in this particular video. So just to show you my actual experience, so this is from my Cambly dashboard. I did a little taster on it, and this was before I had some other offers of work. So it wasn't something I really had the time to put to, but it might be something if you're looking for that extra income that you might want to have a go at. And it's in dollars, so US dollars, so you'd have to convert that, and it gets paid into your PayPal every Tuesday, depending on how much that is. Now, I didn't do very long on it at all, so just about 9 hours. So you can see it racks that up in minutes rather than hours. So it's about, I think it was just a little bit over 9 hours. And from that, I got $93.67, and a quick conversion made that about £75. So if you look at that, it's about £8 an hour. So it's not huge amounts, but if you're trying to do something and earn around, children and things, it's quite good. And one of the really good things about this is that there's no time restrictions. So if you're up at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and you're like, you know what, I just want to go and earn a little bit more money because I'm awake, you can go and log in and you can decide that actually I'm going to do an hour or half an hour and rack up as many minutes as you can, really. And you do get some quite interesting people on here. So I've had people from all over the world, so Turkey and United Arab Emirates and Egypt, and lots and lots of different places. And you just have conversations. They're quite easy to do, and there's lots of videos out there on Cambly as well. So this is a really easy side hustle. I have put a link in the description, which is my affiliate for Cambly. If you want to have a go at it, it's something. If you want to have a go, then obviously I would get money out of referring you. If you do, I think it's like 10 hours or something like that. But I'm certainly not here to push that at all. But it is there if you want to go and click on and you want to give it a go and sign up for Cambly. Please do so. It's worth it for a little bit of side income. That's really truly flexible, and that's one thing that's really, really good about it. And when I did need the money, this was there and available to me to use, but obviously now I've diversified a little bit in terms of that. So now I've talked a bit about what I have done and hopefully given you an idea of something you could do that maybe you haven't heard of. It's certainly, when I looked up side hustles on YouTube, not something that came up really as something that you could do to work from home. So I thought having Cambly on there might be something good if you've never come across it before. But these are the things that have come up, and these are the things that I'm going to try and just to see what they're like, really. Now, how much time I can give to this, I'm not quite sure yet, so we'll see. One of those first things is match betting, which is one of the most popular side hustles that I see on YouTube coming up. So I'm going to have a go at that. I started this a couple of nights ago just to see, what it was all about, really. And I used Profit Accumulator as the site that I used to do this. And I just followed their instructions. And according to YouTube reviews, you can make about £1,000 by doing these startup offers. So I'm going to have a go at that. See how much time I want to give to it, and then that could be, £1,000 maybe that I could put in the pot as extra money across the year. The other thing I'm quite keen on trying is reselling books on Amazon. So I've signed up for an Amazon seller account, and I'm just waiting. I have to have like an online interview after signing up, which is booked in for a couple of days' time. And then I'm going to see if I could possibly source and resell some books on Amazon there with the Fulfilled by Amazon option. So if you've done either of these things and you've got any advice, or you think actually this is probably not worth it, then you might want to advise me there. But I'm going to have a go. And then if you want to follow me and you want to see how I do with those and how much they make, then please do. The other one is Kindle Direct Publishing. And I've seen people doing low to medium content books with various tools, and I've been looking at people's experiences of that. On the one hand, you've got some people saying, this is really not worth it and it's a bit saturated, and others are saying, there are still ways to find niche in the market to upsell here. So that's one other way that I'm going to have a go at, and just to see how it goes. I think on this one, there's absolutely nothing to lose. So match betting is supposed to be risk-free. I'm not sure yet. I haven't done it enough. Reselling books, it depends on how much I buy the books for, and making sure that I calculate that right on their seller app once I get that all up and running. This no outlay, and again, it's just making sure those calculations are correct for printing and royalties and everything else to make sure that's right. So I'm going to see how that goes. And then the last one, which is what I'm doing now, is just to see if can we monetize YouTube. Again, this is such a weird area on YouTube when you start going in and delving around. You've got people saying this is how much they've made on YouTube and all these thousands of pounds, and I'm like, probably not. So I did a bit of a deeper dive there, and I was looking at, those with smaller accounts just to see. And looking at it, I mean, you're really looking at maybe once you've hit that 1,000 subscribers and that 4,000 view time, I think in a month maybe, which I'm not sure I can even get. But just to see how that, tots up. And it wasn't that much, but you just never know. So again, nothing really to lose by having a go. It's just time, no outlay. So we'll see how that goes. So this is what I'm going to try in 2022. And I say in 2022, but we are in April now. So I'm a little bit of a late starter here. But it'd be interesting to see if the kind of second 6 months of 2022 could see any of these work out in terms of a bit of extra money, really. And we'll come on to explaining this. But if you do want to see how this goes, then please do follow. I think, and I don't take my word for this because I'm rubbish, but I think if you subscribe, then you get a notification if I put a new video up, and you can have a look at that and see how I've got on. And again, any advice, tips, tricks we can share, and I'll be very, very honest in whatever it is that I find out from these. So the next thing I just want to clear up is why I'm doing this. So obviously I've got a full-time job, and I've already got some side incomes. But at the moment we're looking to the future a little bit. And I'm also thinking, if anything was to happen, would I have a backup plan? So I've got a pension, but my husband has not, because he's been self-employed for a very long time, and trying to pay a pension and be self-employed, for anyone who's already self-employed will know that's quite difficult to do. You're always kind of chasing each tax return to the next, or you've got the next big expense and you don't really want to put those extra pennies into a pension. So we're kind of looking to the future. And one of the things we are doing is trying to buy some properties to rent out, so buy-to-let mortgages. We've recently bought 2 properties that we're currently doing up, and we want to see how that goes in terms of not really having it as a steady income, but more of a long-term investment. And what we need to be able to do, though, for that is raise that 25% deposit for each property that we buy. And obviously that's quite a lot of money. And my husband, because he's a builder, he does all the work in the properties, but that's around his kind of main job. So that takes quite a while. So really my role there is to earn as much money on the side that I can to put into those properties, and then he does the strong legwork that I'm just not fit for, and I don't have the skills for, to be quite honest. So that's really why we're doing it. Important to note here as well. So again, on YouTube, you'll see lots of videos on right to buy property, not right to buy, buy-to-let properties and things like that. And again, these kind of get-rich-quick schemes, and it's really not what I'm about. We are buying them slowly. That's the first thing. Doing them up ourselves, and really trying to invest in that, so we've got it for the future, and also to have something for the children to have. And one of the things that we've both said that we want to do from the start is to make sure that we're ethical landlords. So you'll hear lots of stories about slum landlords, I suppose. Well, that's really not what we're aiming to do. It's to have an affordable rented house for people that might need it, that's in good condition, because my daughter's tried to rent and the property conditions are poor, overpriced and all those kind of things. So we're trying to do 2 things there, but that's really what this extra money is for. So this takes us to the very last part of the video, and that's really, do you want to follow me on this journey? Do you want to give me more ideas and things that I could try? Do you want to see a very honest review of how these things work out when you're trying to balance that alongside other incomes, and how realistic are these goals, and these different videos on YouTube about how much you can earn doing each of these things. So if you really want to find out and you want to follow me, then please feel free to do that, and I'd very much appreciate that. I'm not going to go heavy on please subscribe and please like, because I don't like that when I'm watching a YouTube channel, so it's certainly not something I'm going to push on to you. The only thing that I will do is I'll pop that link to Cambly if that's something that would help you out, but feel free to have a look into that. And if you want me to do a full video on how that works, I'm happy to do that as well. And if there's any other kind of things that you think, actually, I want to know a little bit more about that. So if you want to see the property renovations, that's always quite interesting because they were in a very, very bad state. Then again, follow me if you want to see things like that, and let me know, what do you want to see, and that'd be great. But it's been nice to upload my first video. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'm going to be careful not to go into my YouTube accent that the kids did when they were younger. Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. But other than that, have a really good week.